Welcome to Women's History Month. I am Sisters in Smoke, and this week's guest is lifestyle event curator, HERficionado from Atlanta Cigar Week. Hi, Octavia.
Hi, how are you?
Very good, very good. Nice to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. And congratulations on this series. I'm super excited. I watched your interview with Jay
Oh,
Carabino. Wonderful.
thanks. I love her.
Really good.
Now, Octavia is her alias is her aficionado on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you want to find her. But she is known to be a lifestyle event curator for She Smokes Too in Atlanta Cigar Week. Octavia, tell me what a lifestyle event curator is.
So I like to think that I put together really cool events. But in addition to that, I add various elements of lifestyle. So that is cigars and spirits and music and atmosphere and cocktails and all of the things that kind of encompass that fashion, all of the things. These are all things that have kind of been a part of my life for many years. And so I like to kind of just put those things together. Music as well. So that, in my opinion, I kind of made up the term, but that's kind of what I do.
That's okay. I'm okay with it. You know,
Yeah.
I like to call her aficionado the female Kenny Burns. Okay.
Big up right there. Absolutely. Shout out to Kenny.
100%.
Yeah.
Now you're based out of Atlanta. How did the idea of Atlanta Cigar Week come up, and what year was that?
2017. 2017 was our inaugural year. And Atlanta is just, I mean, we're just vast, and our cigar community is vast, and um, we have over 120 cigar shops and lounges. The numbers could actually be higher at this point, but because of that, that is actually the highest number of any place in the states, and so
Wow.
it makes our city very special in that we just have so much to offer the cigar community. So it was only natural to provide something here that people can kind of come and explore and find out exactly what Atlanta has to offer cigar smokers all around the country, all around the world, I should say.
That's nice. I know I probably have said this before, but I lived in Atlanta for four tender college years. So I know Atlanta knows how to have a good lifestyle time. The infusion of all those elements you
Absolutely.
mentioned are
Yeah,
top notch. They are top
absolutely.
notch.
We get it in.
So as far as Atlanta Cigar Week is concerned, you have two partners in your venture. How is it working on a team?
So I'll first say that choosing your partners is one of the most important decisions you have to make if you choose to partner with anyone at all. Because in our team, we kind of all have different things that we do. Creatives over here, people that are good at operating over here, and we divvy up our responsibilities very well based on our strengths, based on our weaknesses. We kind of know, like, okay, if it's about a relationship, that's this one. If that's about ideas, that's this one. If that's about like executing down to the last detail, that's this one. And so with that, we don't really get in each other's way a whole lot. We don't really have a lot of disagreements and headbutting because we pretty much know what each other's strengths are and where what we're good at.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
Get partners who know their strengths.
absolutely.
That is a
It's
number.
it's important, I mean, you can't have everyone trying to do the same things and thinking, no, I'm the best at this. Like, but no, we all know that I'm clearly the best at that. So let me just do it, and we can be great.
Just let me be great.
Let me be great. What are we talking about right now?
Now, I've had the pleasure of attending both Atlanta Cigar Week and She Smokes Too.
Yeah.
When and did She Smokes Too start at the beginning of Atlanta Cigar Week? How did that idea come about, and what was your motivator for bringing women into the same space?
No, actually, She Smokes Two came first. So She Smokes Two actually, yeah,
Dang it now, tell me
it
more.
did. She Smokes Two was first, and that was 2016 actually. And so She Smokes Two. So actually, so one of my partners, Henry, calls me randomly now, and I've known Henry since we were kids, like high school. So we came from the same
Okay.
town in
Okay.
Florida, and we both went to FAMU. We both moved to Atlanta, and he called me randomly, like, "Hey, I know you smoke cigars. I just opened up this cigar lounge, and I'm thinking about doing like these events for ladies, whatever." And so he and I kind of got together, and I did my first She Smokes Too in 2016. Um, and that was actually right after I started my HERficionado page. And if you want to know the history of that, I'll get back to that. But
Yes.
we did our first She Smokes Too event at his lounge, and then there were maybe like 15 people. But the motivation for it, to answer the question first, is that when I started smoking cigars, which was Jesus, 2007, maybe something like that.
Oh
And
wow.
I was super young. I'm a woman, obviously. You know, I'm a prissy girl, whatever.
Yes.
But going out to a lot of these lounges, at the time, I just didn't see that. I didn't see that element that looked like me, that felt like me, that had my energy. And unfortunately, there weren't a lot of women in cigar lounges at that time.
Right.
And so when I would go to these places, it's like, what is she doing here? Do you know what I mean? It was more like that versus, oh, let's welcome her into our space. Let's help her. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I mean, I went to my first cigar. I went on a date with a guy and it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And that's kind of how I started in this space. But it
Nice.
wasn't the most welcoming thing. It wasn't, it was very intimidating. And so for me, I think that I wanted to just kind of like add something to the space that was more inviting, that was more friendly for women, that was more comfortable for women, especially beginners, because again, at that time you're walking into a lion's den, like, you know what I mean? Like, between the condescension and the catcalling, and this is back
Yeah.
then, right? Hopefully
100%. Yeah.
it's way better now. Back then it was a tough thing to do, so honestly it actually caused me to step back for years. So like I said, 2016, he's like, hey, I have this lounge. I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. I'm going to build this thing to where women are comfortable coming from all over to come to these things. I want a nice space. I want a great environment. I want great drinks. I don't want a freaking lemon drop. Like, I like dark liquor. You know what I mean? And
We
so,
want we want bourbon. No.
come on. Hello, Kentucky. Kentucky girl over there. You know what I mean? And so, I think that it was just right at the time. It was ready. People were ready. And I knew that women were curious about cigars, even though they didn't know where to start. They didn't know how to start. They didn't know how to ask for help. Do
Same.
you know what I mean?
Same.
And at
Yeah.
that time, there weren't 50 women cigar communities online that you can just kind of go and pop into something. Like, it just wasn't around. And so that was kind of like the motivator for. I know that was a long answer, but
Oh no. I mean, you know what? It's I think people are fascinated
yeah.
with the end result of something that they see, right?
Yeah.
And with you being the first woman to curate such an event that has caught fire in multiple cities and countries now, I think it's important to know where that history lies, where what lit that fire in order to get us here. Because Atlanta Cigar Week and She Smokes Too might have started out with 15 and a couple of hundred people, but now in 2020, well, this past year, 2023, what was, give me a little ballpark figure of the capacity for your week.
Okay. Yeah. So it's It's really difficult to quantify, but my best number, 10 to 15,000 ish, something like that. Yeah.
Just a little number out there.
Yeah.
10 to 15,000. You
Yeah.
know, a little week.
Yeah,
That's a lot of cigars. Okay, that's a lot. That's
it's
a
a
lot
lot of
to
cigars.
echo.
It's a lot. But you know what makes me proud about it is that like there's just such a good mix of men and women. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's still cigars, right? And obviously male dominated space, and people have been smoking for 30 years, men, and they're like, what is going on? Like, what's happening right now? You know? And so to have like almost an equal mix of men and women is just, I mean, it's beautiful.
It is
It's
beautiful.
beautiful.
And for the guys out there, men are also included in the She Smokes Too
Oh,
extravaganza.
absolutely.
You guys are
Absolutely.
welcome to come and participate as well.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, with the men, they're like, oh, there's going to be some ladies there. Absolutely. We're there for sure.
Okay, so in addition to Atlanta Cigar Week, you also teamed up with Orlando Cigar Festival in their second year to create their Sisters of the Leaf community, and She Smokes Too. How about
Yes,
that? How's the community there?
it's great. Actually, so the first year, I think the first year they invited me to be a part, but I didn't really know what it was or anything like that. But I had, we had common people, and they're like, well, just come. We'll host you. Just come, check it out. And I think that the first time I went, and like I said, I wasn't even a part of it, I was just there as a guest.
Okay.
And during one of the events, I texted my partners, like, hey, some way, somehow, we need to be a part of this because it is just, they have a great community, very professional, very beautiful spaces. I mean, it's Florida, you know what I mean? It's Orlando, it's Florida. And so lots of outdoor venues and things like that. So the second year, I was like, all right, cool. Y'all got me. I'm in. Let's do it. Let's do She's Supposed to here. And so ever since their second year, I think we're going into year 4 now. I've been a part of that, and Orlando's great. Yeah, really cool.
Now, what time of the year is Orlando Cigar Festival?
Next month, actually, it's gosh, my event is on. Future Books 2 is on April 12th, so they start April 10th, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So which also coincides with my birthday, just coincidentally.
Of course. Of course, it's a coincidence,
Just
right?
coincidence.
You didn't get a party every year for your birthday. You made sure that.
But I mean, it works out. So yeah, so that's April. Yes, so you guys definitely check out Orlando Cigar Fest for sure. That's going to be a good time.
Sweet. So Atlanta Cigar Festival, She Smokes Too, Atlanta Cigar Festival. Tell me about
Atlanta Cigar
Dubai.
Week.
Atlanta Cigar Week, yes.
Yep. So Dubai kind of came about. A gentleman who is actually he lives there in Dubai. His name is Toba. Hit us up on Instagram. Was like, hey, I've seen this She Smokes Too thing. Like, would love to have it out here. People out here know about it, and they really would love to have you come out. Absolutely. I mean, at that time, I'd never been to Dubai.
Right.
But we partnered up. I went to Dubai for the first time in 2017, I think, and did a She Smokes Too event, and like mind blown that people knew who I was. And you have some of the locals, and in the Emiratis in their garb, and I'm like, y'all know me? Like, you're here because I'm here? Like, what is happening? And it was, I think that it was at that moment that I was like, this is really something. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that, like, truthfully speaking, Ben, I think that when I first started doing what I do, I didn't really think of it as like this big thing. I'm going to go and make a bunch of money and whatever.
Right.
It was just really like, I want to do something for my ladies. Like that was like literally when I started, even HERficionado, my page started out as a feature page. I wasn't even on the page. Like literally it was nowhere on the page when I first started. I happened to post myself on my birthday, and I got like hella like engagement, and people are like, oh, you should show yourself more often. And that's actually how HERficionado became what it is now, which is me pretty much, right?
Right.
But my point is that like I didn't know that there was like this huge desire for this thing for women specifically. I had no idea that it was even a thing. Do you know what I mean? And so to go to
Yeah.
Dubai and to have that, and we were at this beautiful hotel lounge on like the 40th floor, and did an event there and did another event, and it was like dope. And then the following, so did that. That was great. And then literally like 6 months later, they were like, "Yeah, can we do a Dubai Cigar Week?" And I'm like,
Oh,
"Is there a
okay.
need for that?" Like, and they're like, "Yes, people have been raving since you left. Yes, we have to. You have to come back. We have to do a full week." And so that's kind of how Dubai Cigar Week came about.
So are they smoking cigars and hookah and well dressed and all things beautiful because these men and women over there, they're fabulous.
So here's the funny thing, a little stick. I don't know if people know. So, technically the Emirati, which are the locals to Dubai, I mean it's a Muslim country.
Mhm.
They're not even supposed to be smoking and drink. So they're like, well, I have a private Instagram page. Don't post me, but we're doing today. I'm like, my lips are sealed. We're good. So yeah, but no, they're smoking. They're celebrating. I mean, it's a great time, and it's funny because like we went out, and it was actually one of my most memorable just experiences in this journey. We went out. I think it was like after she smokes too. We went out, and it was late, and we're like, oh, let's just go get something to eat. And we took people with us, and then some people were going to meet us there. And again, these are people that they know. Like I don't know anybody over there at that time.
Right, 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 right.
Contact. And so we're sitting down with an ambassador to Uganda and like all these different people from all around the world. And we're like at this table, and it's like cigars, and then there's like the hookahs over, or they call it shisha, of course. The shishas
Shisha,
are over
of course.
here. Yes, the shishas are over here, and we're drinking, and we're having a feast of a meal. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, and cigars brought me here. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and to me, like, I always say that cigars are like the great connector, and they connect people from various backgrounds, various walks of life, various professions, various socioeconomic statuses. But that's what's so beautiful about it. It just connects us all just because of this. So
100%. Because I have definitely found more friends this later part of my life than I ever had before. I always had the top
absolutely.
with the T-Mobile top five. I had T-Mobile top five, and then I started
Yeah.
smoking cigars,
Yeah,
and I love it here.
absolutely. I love it here. Love it here.
So break down to me. Tell me about the parties, the activations. I know maybe the last 2 years you had a behind closed doors activation that was sponsored by a brand. Tell me about how you develop each event for each day.
So behind closed doors. So let me back up actually. So the first behind closed doors was actually a 30-day, and I'm not sure if you realized it was like a 30-day event.
It was a full month.
A full month.
That is the definition of activation right there.
And then it was insane. Like it was and I don't even know how we even I don't even know how well, I don't even know why. I shouldn't say how, but why we were like, yeah, let's do 30 days in a row. Like, because it's freaking crazy. But so basically what behind closed doors was it was supposed to be a speakeasy. We had personal invitations that we were able to, give to our friends and give to our networks and have them give to one person and so on and so forth, right?
Right.
So we literally had a calendar of 30 days and we're just like, what's the dopest thing we can do for 30 days? So it was like we had a white party, we had movie. So every like let's say I don't remember what day it was, let's say Friday. Every Friday was like movie night. So we would literally project an old school movie on the TV. So we have New Jack City and Boomerang and like all these different movies on this screen. So people come in and we have our cigars. We brought popcorn in, or we would have like a jazz night. So we would have a jazz artist. We had a Scotch tasting. We had I can't remember the Scotch brand. Forgive me. Banriach was the Scotch brand that came in. They had a nice flight tasting situation. Uncle Nearest came in and did a whiskey tasting pairing with cigars, and had various cigar brands come in. And so every night was just a different experience. We built out the space because it was a completely blank space. A white room, literally, you would walk in like, what do you want me to do here? We painted the walls black. We painted the walls black. We didn't have the budget to hire somebody to paint the walls and then pay them back. Like, we're in there with sweats on, painting the walls black. And so for us, it was just like, okay, we know that Atlanta Cigar Week is coming up in September. Let's do something really dope before September to build up to that. And that was kind of like the reason that Behind Closed Doors kind of came about. And it ended up being just such a cool thing. And we just kind of kept doing it after that. Not a month, but.
So you could get 2 weeks this time.
And, you're creative as well. You know what I mean? And so like, sometimes you just have these ideas and it's just like, okay, how can I implement this? Okay. Cause I might want to implement it here, but maybe here I can't do it as effectively as maybe here. Do you know what I mean? And I think that has been like, the secret is like, all right, I'm thinking here, but maybe here works this year, but then maybe next year, maybe I can go a little higher. And I think it's just been that.
That's beautiful. I mean, I remember seeing all the pictures. All the fly honeys was out. All the fly honeys.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness, for sure. And guys, of course. Yeah,
of course.
Yes,
they were there, being their dapper best. I saw them too. What was it that you noticed about women in the cigar space that could be nurtured and supported? I mean, we always talk about, our first times walking into a cigar lounge, or, our first time picking out our first cigar, and our first time sitting in a lounge, or our first time at a party trying to figure out if it's okay to light up before we get kicked out.
Yeah.
We all have those experiences, but what about those things you thought could be supported?
I think that with women comes a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's just a woman walked into a space and there's just automatic assumptions made. You automatically think, I want some really sweet cocktail. You automatically think that I want the flavored tiny cigar in the humidor. You automatically think that I don't want to spend more than $10 on my cigar. Like, there's a lot of assumptions that kind of come with that. Or you automatically assume that I'm there to find a guy or something like that. And
that's top 3 right there, right? It's top 3.
That's top 3, right? And I think that for me, like, and I'm an Aries, and so I'm a little bit assertive, and so like for me, I just found offense to that. Do you know what I mean? And that was my experience a lot. And I did not like that. I didn't like it. And I think that once I finally, first of all, found my way through largely on my own, do you know what I mean? Because again, we're talking about 2008-ish.
Yeah.
2008. So I wasn't on Instagram looking for people. Like, that wasn't really a thing back then. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so navigating my way through that, come 2016, I'm like, no, I don't have to be that difficult. Like, it really doesn't have to be this difficult. And so when I finally got on Instagram, the first thing I did was look for women who smoke cigars. I didn't know SOTL at the time. Right?
Who did you find? When you looked, do you remember any of the names that you saw when you first looked? Who was there?
One guess. Now we're talking 2016. So
2016. Well, I know when I started, you were there. So I'm trying to think who was before.
Okay, so the first one I found was Delicia.
Ah,
Cigar
Delicia, yes. She
Cigar
is what do we call it? She's the mother.
She's she's the OG.
She's
She's
the
the mother.
OG.
Like she was the one. She
She
was
was
the
the
one.
one.
She was the
Yeah.
one I found first. And I was like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing. You know what I mean? And like, so for me, it was like, okay, so this is a thing. And I saw a couple others, Larita.
Ah,
Um, after that,
She's in Beirut, right?
in
Is it
Beirut, in
Beirut?
Beirut, and a couple others at that time. And I'm like, okay, cool. So this is a thing, where women are really out there with cigars and they're knowledgeable. And yeah, okay, cool. So those were the first that I was able to see. And so, like, again, fast forward to 2024, like I love seeing way more women now. Like you can pretty much throw a rock and hit another FSPL with a platform. And I
Oh
love
my God! Yes,
I love that for us.
I do too. I love that for us.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Wow, you are absolutely right.
yeah.
Okay, now you got me daydreaming. Now I'm transporting. I'm transporting.
Yeah.
If you
So,
could if you could define the culture then and now in 3 words, well, 3 words each, what would it be?
ooh, man. Um, then exclusive, very exclusive, intimidating. Um, I think it was still fun. I'd say it was still fun.
Yeah,
Like when once you kind of got your bearing a little bit, it was still fun.
yeah,
Now, much more inclusive, much more inclusive, um, diverse,
yeah.
empowering.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very, very empowering now. Because again, and women aside, like, right, like,
Mhm.
and let's just be honest. I mean, um, African Americans, we weren't all that prevalent, right?
No,
Like
we were
we were
not.
something for sure,
Oh
but
yeah,
we weren't as prevalent in the media space, in the out front and center, owning our own cigars, owning lounges, owning platforms like yours, platforms like mine. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And so that wasn't necessarily a thing. And so I love to see how much more diverse it is with more women and more, um, other cultures kind of like being embraced by this space, right? So I love the space that we're in now because at the end of the day, the cigar has no boundaries. Like it doesn't say, well, this person should be smoking and that person shouldn't be smoking, or this person
okay.
should be telling the story and that person shouldn't be telling the story.
Mhm.
I always say that I believe that it's culture, right? And so for me, and we're talking about the culture of this whole thing, not just what I do, not just what you do, but the culture of the cigars itself.
Yeah,
Um, in my opinion, that is a culture of in and of itself, and culture is meant to be shared and not hoarded, right? And so we are meant to tell everybody about what we're doing and help everybody to be able to come into that space with knowledge, of course. You don't want people to just be coming in blindly, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, we
yeah,
want you to come in, but we want you to learn and we want you to grow with what we're doing and to help you grow. Because guess what? If the culture dies with us, or ends with us, I should say, it dies.
yeah.
We
It
we
does.
need we need more people coming into this space to grow it and to keep it going for a long time. So that's what I
I
would
agree.
say about that. Yeah.
I agree with that. And I mean, to your point, I just want to say that, and I'm pretty sure you share the same temperament. I also think, the people that the greats in this industry have leaned into the next generation, so that we could keep it going, so that we
Oh,
could get
sure.
to know the culture before us properly, so that we could exist in it. And so everybody that comes in the industry, both with us and alongside us or after us, they'll understand the culture a little bit more than we did when we were very timid.
So yeah, quick story. I was in Vegas, I believe it was the Big Smoke. I was working with Bacardi, I think, that year. So I'm at the Big Smoke. We went to Eight Cigar. Actually, we had an event at Eight Cigar Lounge with Bacardi. That was like their opening weekend. We had an event there with Bacardi, and we ended up going inside. El Septimo had a room in there, so I went in there with them, and Zaya and their family, and Rocky was there, and Niche was there, and Hamlet, and like a bunch. Everybody was there, right? There's several brand owners and things like that were in the room. And Rocky actually wasn't there initially, but he comes in and he sees me sitting there and he walks over and loudly, like so everyone could hear, he's like, do y'all know who's sitting right there? Pointing at me. And I'm like, who? What's going on?
He's like, where? Who's over here?
And he was like, that is HERficionado. Octavia is amazing, and she is doing her damn thing in Atlanta and around the country, and she is really amazing for the industry. And I hope that you guys know her and get to know her and recognize her, because what she's doing for women and for people of color and just for the industry as a whole is just amazing. And it meant a lot because obviously we know what we're capable of, right? Like, know who you are, I know who I am. But I think that sometimes having the quote unquote, and I mean this in the most respectful way, having the quote unquote old guard, right? And the OGs and the people who have been around for years, when they vouch for you in that way and they speak up for you in that way, it just means so much, right?
100%.
Because we are in a space that is very traditional, extremely traditional, and you and I have had this conversation. And like I remember you and I were in Houston for New Year.
New Year's.
We had a ball, and we had a ball.
We gotta do it again, okay?
It was so much fun, yes. But anyway, we were just kind of kicking it before the event. And we were talking, and I was like, well, how is DR? And I've been promising you I was going to go to DR for a minute. And you're like,
I wish I had a quarter for every person that promised me, okay, run me my money.
I'm coming.
If they were coming to Pro Cigar with me, run me my money.
I swear I'm coming, but no, in all seriousness, but I remember even you were saying, like, I was like, you were like, Octavia, you got to come and be in these rooms and let these people get to know who you are, because you were like, a lot of people, they might see you on Instagram, but they may not know who you are. And I took that, and I'll say that was actually, when you said that was such a great piece of advice that I received from you, because I was, you're right. I have to kind of because I'm very like introverted. I'm very like to myself, and I've just been that way my whole life. But with what I do, I'm like, okay, I kind of have to kind of get out there. But anyway, my point was that for him to kind of say that and kind of vouch for me and vouch for who I was, like, that is needed at some level, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And some people don't think, I mean, I'm in 100% agreement. Like you said, we've talked about it. I know that some people walk around in this industry, no matter where they sit, and think that they don't. It's not that you need validation. It's just that most of us weren't born into tobacco legacy. People who are 3, 6 generations in, 150 years in any type of tobacco corner. There's always someone that knows more. And if you're not willing to get to know the people that came before you, man or woman, right, then it kind of makes it hard to move around, because you don't want the validation, you want the respect.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah,
you said it much better. There you go. That's absolutely.
Oh, no, I'm with you. Listen, I'm.
That's it for sure. No, for sure. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Go, Rocky. Come on, Rocky, with recognizing. Okay.
Yes. So I'm actually at Burn. I'm at Burn by Rocky Patel right now.
Look at that.
I'm outside, but
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
How do you stay up to date with the latest cigar culture, the trends, the practices, and what resources do you rely on to be able to produce your events and to be able to steer the culture in a way that sets a standard? Because Atlanta Cigar Week is the standard. It's always been the standard. It was, so how do we do that? What gifts do you have in your pockets?
Well, thank you for that, first of all. So yeah, I mean, we were definitely first in that space. And this might sound strange, but it may not sound strange. So I do stay up to date with what's kind of going on in the industry, via Cigar Snob, PCA. I check into that periodically, Cigar Aficionado magazines, etc., things like that. As far as events go, I purposely do not check in often. I kind of see what's going on just because I mean I'm on Instagram, so I'm strolling through. I'm like, okay, cool, that looks dope. All right, cool, all right, nice. People
Yeah.
send me things all the time, so I'll check out stuff like that. I intentionally don't go super deep into that because I don't want it to influence what I am doing. Right? Atlanta Cigar Week is my largest event that I do annually. Obviously have various one-offs and different things that I do throughout the year, but Atlanta Cigar Week is the biggest thing that I do annually. I intentionally don't dial in super deep to a lot of other things because I don't want to be influenced by them. Subconscious on a subconscious level, right? I think that one of my advantages has been that I've been in Atlanta for so long. I've worked, a lot of people don't know, I've worked in the nightlife space. And so and even aside from just working in that space, being at different events and traveling and seeing how various events are kind of handled and curated and things like that, that's kind of where I draw my ideas, not necessarily from cigar events per se, because again, I don't want my event to look like this event or that event. I want new, fresh, never been seen, never been heard of, never been done, innovative, right?
Innovative. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm not really, I'm not really one to like follow trends or anything like that. So like I said, I check them out, periodically when it sends me or when it comes across my feed. And I congratulate the curators because I know what it takes to do this stuff and it's not easy. So I'm always sending, and people don't know. And it's funny because I think that there's like this misconception, and I know I'm kind of getting a little bit off topic.
Yeah.
But I think that there's like this misconception that there's some sort of a competition amongst like this festival, that festival, this week, that week. Like,
yeah.
Crystal and I, every year before my event, she sends me a, hey girl, good luck on your week. Before her week, hey girl, good luck on your week. Afterward, girl, the pictures look dope. Y'all did that. Like, that's our but people don't know that, and so there's like it's really easy to build up this narrative that there's this competition or like we're against or they're hating on us or we're hating on them, and I'm like, no, but we're doing totally different things in different places and we're focused on that. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And so for me, it's like, nah, like I want to keep mine as unique to Atlanta as possible. So yeah, that's kind of like, that's it, honestly.
That's great. And for those who don't know who Chrissy is, aka Crystal, aka Sweet Habana, aka co-owner and creator of both Spades Cigars and Houston Cigar Week.
Yep.
Shout out to Crystal.
Shout out to Crystal, our girl. And Mr. Spades.
Mr. Spades. Every year you add more and more partnerships to the ACW and She Smokes Too umbrella. How have you managed to establish trust and credibility with brand sponsorship and the consumer?
By being honest. Like I'm very honest with, and obviously consumer and a sponsor would be two different areas, right?
Right.
So with sponsors, I'm not over promising you anything. If anything, I'm going to under promise you and over deliver. Um,
100%.
I'm very honest with what they can expect from me, with what they can expect from my team, with what they can expect from the event itself. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to turn 1,000 people onto your product just because you're at the event. I can't promise you that. I can't control what these people do, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But what I can promise you is that whatever it is that I'm offering you in that contract, you're going to get all of that and plus more. I can promise you that. And so from year to year, it's being honest about what the expectations are, what my role is, what I need for them to do to be able to help. And it's a partnership. And,
Yeah.
and any sponsors that I've ever had, I tell them up front, listen, this is a partnership, and we're working together to produce something. And that goes to even venues and vendors and anyone. This is a partnership where we're all working together to make this thing successful for everyone. Do you know what
Yes.
I mean? Even with venues, and I think that that's one of the things that, again, like people who are on the outside of doing events, that is a critical part of the planning and the organizing and the curating, is being on the same page with vendors, venues, sponsors, anyone who is activating in that space, is that communication up front, recognizing that we're a partnership. There's been venues that I've wanted to do so bad, like so bad then, but they're not on the same page as me, so I can't do it.
That's fair.
They don't. They don't want for my customer the same thing that I want for my customer.
Yeah.
If you can't offer my customer what I want them to have, we're not coming.
Yeah.
We're not coming because I've already built a trust with my customer, and they expect certain things. And if you're unable to provide for whatever reason, there's no love lost, but I can't come. I'll come next week and we'll have a drink together and chat and talk about how great the week was. But I can't make you a part of Cigar Week because we're not on the same page. And so I think that I kind of segued a little bit into the trust with the consumer, because they pretty much have come to know over the years what to expect out of a HERficionado event, a She Smokes Too event, an Atlanta Cigar Week event. They pretty much know what to expect. Obviously, there's variations and there's various things that might take place that are a little bit different, but for the most part, they pretty much know what to expect. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that has built a lot of trust in them, because they're like, they're not going to lead me down some crazy path. Like you know what I mean? They pretty much know. And so for me, with any of my partners, whether it's a venue partner, whether it's a vending partner, whether it's a sponsorship, whatever have you, it's just having that trust up front, having everyone they say that they're going to do, having that in writing, of course, contracts. That's kind of been like super key to me.
Yes. Oh my God. But guys, your word is bond. Okay, I need you to keep your word and your contracts. Okay.
Listen, in case your word ain't nothing, that contract gonna speak for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are a few things that people need to consider when forming their weeks and or festivals?
That's a good question. So I think that the very first thing, like number one, what are your resources? Like, what are your resources? And I don't mean like your personal finances resources, but what are the resources of your area? Like, what does your area offer? Right? Like, what do you offer? If you have one cigar lounge and 2 restaurants, you probably can't do a week. Maybe you can do a day. Maybe you can do a weekend, and that's okay.
Right. Yeah, that's okay.
And that is okay. There's nothing wrong with doing a day. Nothing wrong with doing 2 days, right?
Yeah.
So knowing your resources, what makes your city unique?
Yeah.
Draw on that. Like, y'all can't do what Atlanta does because we're Atlanta and we have X, Y, and Z. I can't do what Memphis does because we don't have X, Y, and Z. I can't do what this, but do you know what I mean? So it's like you have to draw upon what your resources are that are right there in front of you. Like, I'm not going to be reaching trying to go to freaking Lake Lanier to get a boat because, first of all, I don't agree with Lake Lanier. Let's start there. Second of all, it's not the same type of vibe, and we're in September, and it don't make no sense to be on a boat in September. So it's like,
I tell you, if you invite me to get on a boat in Atlanta, I'm gonna ask you where the water is, okay? Where's the water in Atlanta? I'm not getting on the boat. I can't smell.
No, we do have some water,
where
we got water. It's like it's on the outskirts. We have Lake Oconee, we have Lake Lanier. Again, Lake Lanier is not even an option, but we do have Lake Oconee. We do have Lake Oconee.
I'm not getting on no boat in Atlanta. I'm not getting on no boat, girl. Good night.
but Ben, but that's my point though, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
Certain things it's about figuring out what your city has, what your city is the best at that nobody can fucking tell. Can I pass? I'm sorry.
No, say it loud. Say
I'm sorry.
Loud. Say it loud. Say it proud.
But what is it that your city has that nobody can touch? Because guess what? As soon as you try to do a She Smokes Too in your city, they're going to look at my She Smokes Too in Atlanta and be like, that's not the same thing. Do what you do best. You can't draw upon what someone else is doing. You can draw inspiration, of course, but make it your own. And so if we're talking about my advice to anyone starting up any type of festival, week, whatever have you in your city, draw upon the resources of the place that you're in and go hard at that, because guess what? There's an audience for that. Like, there's an audience for all of the things that we're doing. Like, people will come to Atlanta and what we have during our weekend, they'll go somewhere else, and it's a completely different experience.
100%.
As much as that sounds like a cliche, there's something for everyone, and I think it's just about finding what suits you the best and go support that shit. Go support everybody. Go support as many as you can.
So, because of all that, how does it feel to be the first woman to produce dual cigar experiences in the States in this industry? Do I need to say it again?
No.
You want to say it again? Okay, I'm going to say it again. I'm saying it again. How does it feel, HERficionado, to be the first woman to produce dual cigar experiences in this industry?
The funny thing is that I've never even thought of it that way. But hearing you say it, and first of all, I appreciate you acknowledging me in that way. I don't know, again, and I listen, I promise to whoever's watching this, I promise I'm not trying to be like that fake humble, like, oh no, I didn't. Like, I'm not trying to do that, right? But first of all, I never thought of it that way. Second of all, like, I really just wanted to do something cool that women can come and be a part of. That was cool. Like, and I think that, and it's like an old saying: if there is something that you want and you do not see it, you have to create it. You can't complain that there's not this and that there's not that and that this is this way and angry face. Like, okay, what you gonna do about it though? You know what I mean? What you gonna do about it? And so I think that I just did something about it, and I'm very grateful and very humbled that other women saw the value in it, and other men saw not other men, but men saw the value in it as well, and people that smoke cigars and people that don't smoke cigars see the value in it, because again, I want everyone to come in and feel comfortable and to feel welcomed, and I get calls all the time from people that smoke, and as well as people that don't smoke as well, that love what I do and love what I've created, and want to be a part of it in various ways, partnerships, and people calling me from other places like, hey, when's the next this? I heard about this all the way in some country that I've never heard of. I have actually, it's funny, I have a girl here who her name is Shannon, and she was telling me that she was stationed in Afghanistan, and she heard about me when she was in Afghanistan.
Nice.
I guess she had like people here on the ground here in Atlanta, whatever. So she heard about me there, and when she's telling everybody over there about me, and when she came, she was just super excited to finally be able to attend a She Smokes Too, because she's like, "Oh my God, girl, I've been hearing about you so long now," and I get stories like that just all the time, and it really just makes me feel good to be able to have facilitated these safe spaces for people who otherwise may not have had a space or a place, or maybe they did have a space, but maybe this is a space that suits them a little bit better. And so to be a woman in this space and to have created something, and maybe the first, I don't know. I mean, it feels great. You know, it feels great. And like I said, I'm very just humbled and honored that so many people have embraced what I do, and appreciate what I do. And I feel like I found my tribe, you know, in this space. And yeah, I love the support, and I see y'all and I appreciate it.
Well, I say it that way because, you know, we all had Delicia, right? We all had the mother.
Yep.
But, you I know that like many women, I came in with Ken, and all I smoked with was guys.
Yep.
And there you were. And it's funny because I used to live in Atlanta. I was like, dang, why didn't I smoke then? Because then I probably would have had the time of my life.
Yeah.
I completely missed the Atlanta cigar scene, like
Mm-hmm.
completely.
Mm-hmm.
But here you were, and I did. I got my butt on the plane, and I came to
You
Atlanta
did.
Cigar Week. I
Yep.
had so much fun. I'm pretty sure I drug about 4 other people with me,
You
but
did. You brought a
I
little
did.
crew. Absolutely.
Everybody's going. Let's go. Some
Yes.
badass women over here doing some things, and
I appreciate that.
through going to that is how I met Crystal, and
Yep.
how I met a lot of the other women that I've become really good friends with, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
in the smoking space. And when I come to your city, we all get together, and when you come here or we go to Houston,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a mobile community. We just go round and round, and it's a
Absolutely.
beautiful thing. So thank you
And what and
for seeing that there's a need.
I love connecting people either personally or through events or through Instagram. I mean, like I feel like I've had people like, hey, like in groups, like, hey, who's in LA? I'm like, reach out to some people. I don't know if you know what I mean? And so it's like it's like it's that camaraderie um amongst cigar smokers, women specifically, that is just, and I think that that is the empowering part about it, right? When I said empowering earlier, that is the empowering part about it, because it's not like we're just randomly giving each other the a wink in the lounges. Like, we're being very intentional about connecting with each other and connecting each other.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I just love that. I love the space that we're in right now. I love what you are doing right now for Women's Month, and
Thank you.
recognizing for women that you saw value in enough to say, hey, let's get on an hour call and introduce some people that you might have in your audience that may not know who the hell I am, that may not know who the hell Jay Calvino is, or know what she
Mhm.
does, or whatever have you. And so I love that you are using your platform in that way as well. So kudos to you,
Oh, thank you.
of course.
I'm feeling the love, guys.
Of course.
But the big question is, I think, especially with all the weeks, what do you believe that it takes to keep people coming back year after year?
Mm. Catering to the customer. and I call them customer, but typically I usually call them guests. I mean, they're my guests, right?
Right, right.
Like I said, I mean, I've worked in some form of customer service pretty much as long as I've been an adult. And that is definitely something that I appreciate. That's one of my soft skills that I've gotten from that space, is just catering to that customer. So going back to the behind closed doors, this was actually the second edition of Behind Closed Doors, and this was a weekend event. So it was like 3 days, I think. So instead of doing 30 days again, we did 3 days. So we had rented out this Airbnb, which was a really cool modern space. Bacardi was our sponsor, so they really did their thing with like decking it out, and it was a really beautiful space. But again, Behind Closed Doors is a pop-up, right? So I want to say this was, if not the day of the summer, like a record high, because it's in the summer, it's in June in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. They didn't call us Hotlanta for nothing. So I want to say,
that's not why they call it Hotlanta.
No, why they call it Hotlanta? Look, what you telling me about my city? That's not why.
I don't know. I was there first. You went to FAMU. I was already at Clark Atlanta University.
No, girl, we'll talk about that offline, because that's what I thought, because it was hot. No, that's not right.
It was hot, but not because of the weather. No, I'm saying, okay.
Hilarious. That's another conversation for another day. So anyway, it was hot. So it was, like I said, it was like a record high. So we had already prepared the space, because again, it's an Airbnb, it's not a cigar lounge, so you don't have the ventilation and all that. So we bought all kinds of big fans and like different things, because we are not humidors, humidifiers, to try to draw some of the smoke out, because again, we're doing cigars and we already know how that can kind of get, right? Y'all, the AC went completely out.
No.
Completely just shut down, like, yeah, we're done for the day. And we're like, and the owner was like out of town or something, so there was no like, oh, we're gonna come back and figure it out and fix it. And it's the weekend, it's like Saturday, and we're like, oh my god, what are we gonna, like, freaking out? People are sweating, like, we're walking around like, this is so embarrassing. Like, what the hell is happening right now? Like, and so we're in panic mode. But you know, the thing about events is that you have to think about anything that can go wrong, right? You have to think of things. So we're sitting there like, okay. So literally, I'm online like, air conditioners, portable air conditioners. Let's find some. They were probably like, the only ones that were in stock were probably like $300 to $500 a piece. Run it. I don't care. Run the car. Who can go get them? Somebody go run to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. Go get as many as you can find. We have to remedy the situation. Like, you know, people are in here sweating. It's hot as hell. I sent somebody to Publix. Go get as many waters as you can find. We need to give up, because at that point, nobody cares about the logistics. Nobody cares that this is an Airbnb and this is not Atlanta Cigar Week's space. Nobody cares that, oh, HERficionado just rented the place out for the weekend. All they know is that I'm here, I paid to be here, and I'm hot as hell, and I'm sweating, and my clothes are getting drippy and wet, and I got a water stain on my shirt from my sweat. Like, what is happening right now? Like, nobody cares about the problem that organizer is experiencing. Nobody cares about that. All that they know is that my experience right now that I was promised is not happening.
Yeah.
Something else is happening.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't care how much money I have to spend. If I have it in that account, spend it, because right now I can't afford to have people not having a great time that I promised them, because that's on me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that has absolutely been one of the things that I feel has had people coming back, is that they know that, one, I'm going to give it everything I have. I'm going to give it 100% to make sure this event that you're attending, that you're paying money for, that you're spending your time to come to, that you're telling people about, you're inviting friends, is going to be exactly what I promised you.
Yeah.
And in the event that it is not, I am going to do everything in my power to make sure I'm remedying the situation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so so like I said, went and got or whomever went and got the ACs, brought the ACs in. It took about 30, 40 minutes to really cool down. But
Yeah.
they were partying that place till 1 a.m.
Kept the party going.
Okay. And came back the next day.
And came back.
What are we doing? Y'all got the ACs ready? ACs are ready. They've been pumping since 5 a.m. we kept them today.
We trapped the air in here, closed the doors.
Listen, for real, some old school. Your mama used to tell you to close the doors. You going out the house, close the door on your way out. Don't let my cool air out of here.
No, we not cooling off outside.
That's right. That's right. I paid for this good air. Y'all better close those doors. So no, but it was that, because at the end of the day, I mean, things can go wrong, and that's with any event. Like I remember telling Melissa that Melissa from Smoke and Sell in Chicago. I did an event in Indianapolis with the Cigar Men of Distinction in Indianapolis, and she came down. I guess it's like only a couple hours from Chicago. So she came down, and she was actually preparing for her first Smoke and Sell. And she was talking to me about it. She's like, "Oh my God, Octavia, I'm so nervous. Like, I just feel like I don't have everything together. And, I'm just nervous about it." And I was like, listen, do the very best that you can to prepare for all the situations, but please expect something is going to happen that you're not expecting.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Just, I said, first of all, 9 times out of 10, whatever you see happening, other people don't even see it. You see it because, you know what I mean? You see it because you're the one that organized the event. But I was like, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to notice. I was like, and if they do notice or whatever, just remedy the situation. Like,
yeah,
that's all you can do. Do your best to fix it. Apologize if you can't fix it. Compensate in one way or the other. You know what I mean? Like I said, that day, I feel like I gave out 1,000 waters and free drink for the next hour and whatever, because it's like, you came here trusting me to give you this experience, and I want to make sure that you get that experience. And if you for some reason don't, I'm going to make up for it in the best way that I can.
That's the only way it should be.
Yeah.
Only way it should be. Now, Octavia, you are a smoker.
Yep.
If someone gifts you a cigar, what would it be and what size?
Ooh, I love gifts. I mean, I love a Lancero.
Same.
I love a Lancero. Like that's got to be my favorite Vitola. Give me an L40. I love an L40. Like,
she got expensive taste.
Give me a. If you got cues, give me a Trinidad Fundadores. That's like one of my favorites.
Now we're talking.
That's one of my favorites. But I think I love Lanceros because they're just not always readily available. I know that it's kind of like a Vitola that just isn't super popular. They're kind of dying out a little bit. Not everyone really makes them anymore. But I love them. I mean, it's definitely one of my favorites. So yeah, definitely, if you're gonna give me a gift, give me a Lancero. I love it.
Okay, brands, don't discontinue our Lanceros, okay? Because
please
we are here to buy them.
Yes. Listen, anytime I see them and I see like one that I haven't tried, I'm gonna buy it for sure.
Yeah. So I know everybody always wants to know, like, what's your favorite stick? What's your favorite stick? What's your favorite stick? But I always feel like the better question for somebody, especially like me, who's always on the go, when you travel, what 3 cigars do you bring with you?
So first of all, it's usually whatever's in my humidor, but I have I have so many cigars in my humidor, like it's ridiculous. I mean, they're just, and I have multiple humidors, so there's also that. But for the sake of the conversation, probably something like a Padron, which is just a tried and true everyday cigar for me.
Yeah.
Um, I would probably take one that has been gifted to me, like so maybe like a brand sent me a package or
Hmm.
something like that. So I'd probably take one of those just to make sure that I'm trying that as I'm traveling or whatever have you. And then I always take a special cigar, like something limited edition,
Yeah.
something rare, something expensive, and I
Yes.
and I bring that one because in my travels, I don't know who I'm going to meet,
Yeah.
and I want something special to offer to someone if the occasion arises. So I always bring something special, always at least one.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because then if I don't run into nobody, I'm gonna smoke it.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Oh, we're not bringing it back, but we're definitely gonna stick
we're
it.
not we're not bringing it back.
We're
So
not
you
bringing it
better
back.
hope we run into you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we're gonna smoke them. We're we save cigars to an extent, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
smoke. I'm not saving every good cigar in my humidor. Like I'm gonna smoke them as well because that's what they're there for. Like I don't know if I'm gonna make it to tomorrow.
This is true.
I'm gonna
This
smoke my cigars, or I'm gonna give them away to people that I encounter along the way. That either I meet them and I think, oh, this is a person I would want to give, or maybe it's someone that I've already known. If I see you, I'm gonna give you a really great cigar because I just appreciate you as a person, and so I always want to have something special on hand. Like I heard somebody like, oh yeah, make sure you bring the $2 cigars so you can give them to people. What? Like, I mean,
those are those people in those cigar groups. They're crazy. Because
yeah,
I don't. I mean,
yeah.
I know it might be me or not me, or maybe it just might be Sisters in Smoke. But you're not going to be out here talking about me. I did not give you
No,
a trash cigar.
no,
It's not
I'm
going to
not
happen.
getting nobody no trash cigar. No, not
But
at
I,
all.
but I, but
Unless it's like my homegirl and I literally know she doesn't smoke at all. Girl, here, just take whatever I got, handy. Other than that, no, not at all.
yeah, because no, you're not going to talk about me. And also, too, people have blessed me with some very rare and beautiful things.
I'm
And
sure.
so it's really important to kind of pass that along the way too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, pass it along. And I'm trying to hopefully we're both in Vegas this month and I can dig in your stashes. I know you got some good stuff.
Oh, I got you. I got
I
you.
know you got some things in your travel.
I got you. I promise. I'm gonna bring something.
Yes.
So last but not least, who is her aficionado when she is not producing events?
I'm a mommy, first of all. Like, yeah, I'm a mom. I mean, I'm a mom. Like, I'm a mom all the time. My daughter's 8. Um, and it's actually funny because, since I became a mother, that has really framed a lot of what I do. And it has shaped a lot of what I do because I do things with her in mind. I remember when she was like a child, when she was a baby, I would have to schedule like my outings and days that I'm smoking because I had a rule that if I come home and she's awake, she cannot be around me with the smoke in my clothes. Like that was just a rule for me. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna hug my child and she's like 6 months, a year old, and like I have a bunch of cigar smoke on my like that was just a thing that for me was super important. But even just I can't necessarily go out as much as I would like. I can't necessarily travel as much as I would like to a lot of different events and things like that because I have a child at home that I can't just leave. Like, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
the mother part of me defines a lot of what I do professionally, even down to the images that I post online and things like that. Like, I have to be aware, like, my daughter is now 8, so she's able to go on the internet and type in and she knows all my stuff. She knows. She's like, oh, her aficionado has an event. Oh, is this she smokes too? Is
Oh,
is it? Oh, when is it Atlanta? Is it September? Oh, it's almost Atlanta Cigar Week. So she knows all the things that we do, and so I have to be super cognizant of that. Like I remember one time she went and told her daycare teacher to pull me up online, and her teacher did it. And I'm like, first of all, privacy, ma'am. Like, why are you Googling me? You know what I mean? But so that actually shapes a lot of who I am. I'm very private. I'm just that way. Just like when I was talking to you and we were doing this interview, and I'm like, oh, girl, I have kind of like anxiety about speaking. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to kind of like get out of that because I know that my voice is important, and people do want to hear what I have to say. So I am trying to kind of come out of that. But to answer your question, that's kind of who I am. But I love to have fun. I love to laugh. I love to joke around. I love to embrace other people, other women. I love to help when I can. Very passionate about a lot of things like that. So that's kind of who I am when I'm not producing events.
Oh, nice. Well, tell everyone here where we can find you and your events throughout the year.
So digitally, you can find me at HERficionado, HERficionado on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, kind of. And Atlanta Cigar Week, same places. And then again, of course, I'll be in Orlando in April 12th for She Smokes Too at Orlando Cigar Fest. Tickets are available for that. Tickets are on sale as well for Atlanta Cigar Week. And other than that, yeah, that's it.
All
Oh,
right.
and I'll be in Vegas for PCA.
Well, I will see you there.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
thank you, HERficionado, for doing this interview with me. Me, JR Cigars, we really appreciate the work that you are doing in this community, not just in the cigar community, but also in the Sisters of the Leaf community. Much respect to you and your brand, and look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks in Orlando Cigar Fest, and in September, Atlanta Cigar Week.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. This segment of Women's History Month is sponsored by JR Cigars. See you next week.